last 2 times I've used my FHR credit, I've chosen like a hotel that was a little over $200, and then ended up getting upgraded by messaging them. Repeatable. Repeat slide. So really the frameworks that I'm like trying to make sure it's digestible is right ways to conserve, ways to multiply your points, and leverage them in the right situations to your benefit.
If there's one airline,
whoa. But essentially, right, if you utilize your points the wrong way, you might miss out on an opportunity to go on the Emirates A380. This is what I was talking about. You can book this through Emirates with your Amex or Chase points. You can transfer points into them. But the thing is when you actually transfer them into Emirates, you're going to be stuck with the high taxes and fees. So this is also why the cost per point scenario with international flights is really good to track, because it'll be about $800 to $1,100 in taxes and fees. So you're still paying a pretty hefty amount, but the cash cost of these flights, business class is, like $5 to $7 grand, and first class could be anywhere on the 777 to A380 can be 10 to 15 grand. But this is the experience where I talk about, like, most people would not pay cash for, but points allows you to actually have this experience. So they're serving Dom Perignon. They have a bar on board. You get caviar, you get multiple course meals, and you're on, 10, 12, 13-hour flight. The cool thing about this is the availability is iffy to find, but you can book this through Air Canada. Air Canada has low taxes and fees. Like, it would be less than $100. And then you could get it as low as 90,000 points. So you could get one sign-up bonus, one like Inc. business credit card, 90K sign-up bonus recently, could literally get you a $8,000 flight on the A380.
So Inc. is the business card you're talking about, right?
Yeah, they just recently had a 90K sign-up bonus, so I just mentioned it.
Okay.
Yeah. But even then, the Sapphire Preferred 80K. This is kind of the main, I would say, like the 3 luxury airlines that a lot of people want to fly, right? Is going to be Emirates, it's going to be Qatar, and then Etihad, I guess, as well. Etihad has a crazy seat, but it's hard to find. Same scenario with hotels. This is why I like Hyatt. Like, you trying to find a Marriott or a Hilton that is this cash cost. Like, when I went to Hawaii, I was looking at the cash costs of the places in Hawaii, and it was, $1,200 a night, kind of same scenario, but they were charging like 500,000 Hilton points a night, like an insane amount. This scenario, like, you could go to Costa Rica, $1,600 a night. Look at the reviews of this place, insane, and it's 25,000 points. That's like $250 for a $1,600 hotel. And if you have status, the likeliness of you getting upgraded, because Hyatt as well, like, they treat their status members incredibly well, but they're also, I will say, Hyatt is a little bit smaller. Like, they have a smaller network. Like I said, Marriott and Hilton have a very large network. So like, any city you go to probably has some type of Marriott or Hilton. That's not necessarily always the case with Hyatt, but they're expanding. So I'll say that. But this is just another redemption that you could possibly get by just understanding where you can use your points and utilize them. Yeah, good point, James. Yeah, I'd buy points for that. Oh, John, before I jump into the car rental hack here, but which destination makes the best sense to book Emirates A380? So there is, you can go straight to Dubai at a JFK. There are things called the Fifth Freedom flights. You can get one Fifth Freedom flight. I think currently it's flying into Athens. I'd have to check, because that's one thing as well. When you're searching for airlines, especially international flights, you're going to want to look up the actual, like, Airbus, the airline. So first class domestically is, much different than first class and business class internationally. So if it says a 777, you're still going to get a great business class flight, but there's fifth freedom flights, which are less points, and you can fly from Mexico City to Barcelona, JFK to Athens. There's one to Madrid as well. And these are fifth freedom flights, are essentially flights that Emirates has put on their routing that are halfway points for other people to get to Dubai. So you can basically take that flight just to Athens and get off, and then that flight is actually going to go to Dubai. So these are just shorter routes, but you can end up booking Emirates and still have that type of experience for a little bit cheaper.
Can you repeat that name again? What was it called?
The cities or the name of the type of flights.
The name is up there.
Yeah, literally type in fifth freedom flights, fifth freedom flights, Emirates. And it'll give you cities from the US where you can fly domestically, or you can fly that and not have to pay as many points as you would to go straight to Dubai. But then think about that as well. You could go to Dubai as well. Longer flight, so you get to enjoy the experience, but less points required for you to have it. And then, oh yeah, James mentioned buying points. Yeah. You can as well, you guys can buy points. Not many people take advantage of this as often, but there are a lot of like big bonuses. And I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning, but I actually worked and did sales with a few of like very big name travel hackers in the space. And that's where I got a lot of like my reps in, and they buy points a lot, and they recommend buying points a lot, because you could buy $1,000 worth of points, but it could get you a $7,000 flight. So essentially you might be spending cash, but if there is a massive bonus, like Avianca always has like 165% bonus on buying points. So a lot of these airlines will actually have points bonus buying opportunities, where if you see the flight and you find an award flight for a certain amount of points, and maybe you don't have the points, or maybe you just don't want to use your own points, you could just spend the money, if you have the money, to pay $1,000 for, let's say, 130,000 points, and then just do the booking for that, $5,000-$6,000 flight, and then you just saved yourself. Essentially, it's like a massive discount. But yeah, Avianca has a bonus now. How do you zero in on destinations? I'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, this is, if you guys want to understand like status matching, because I'm going to talk a little bit about this, a way that you can fast track status a little bit, as we were talking about, John, is if you don't have cards or things like that, you can check Status Matcher. Status Matcher is a website where you can essentially say, oh, if I have a status with a certain hotel or car rentals, which we'll talk about, or an airline, can I status match that to another company? And you will see people will post their reports and give you examples of whether it worked for them. And typically they will give you, an explanation of why they were denied or what they sent in. So as you can see, like Best Western, that's a simple one, sent Hilton Gold. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But essentially you can get Best Western status to do a car rental hack without even, you can Photoshop Hilton Gold on there, or you can get Hilton Gold with multiple credit cards, right? Hilton Gold or Diamond with multiple credit cards. But it basically just provides you a lot of detailed data points of recent activity in terms of status matching, because that would be the easiest way, is trying to find a way to status match to get a certain status with hotels, airlines. Usually doesn't work as well with airlines. It's better to work for, find different challenges that are available. So literally, literally what I was just talking about, right? It's just a way to fast track it. You can do it in industries, across industries. But one thing that people may ask is like, why would they allow this? Essentially, right, they're all companies and they want to take market share from each other. So they allow competitors to, first of all, like status challenges. They want to, if they get someone who is a Marriott Platinum Pro or American Airlines Platinum Pro member, Delta might want to get that person because they're spending quite a bit of money with that airline currently. If they can get them to become someone that flies Delta and they provide a little bit better service, or they can get, upgrades or spend that type of money with them and with their cards, they want to do that. So it's basically they're just all fighting each other for market share, which is why they have status challenges. They're just trying to get each other's customers, essentially. And so those are things that the other way to really get status with the hotels and with the airlines is going to be the status challenges. So like this is how a lot of us got high at Globalist. Now MGM has a partnership with Marriott instead, where we actually did a lot of stays with MGM, worked that challenge. It was 20 nights in 60 days. So that is kind of what you need to pay attention to, is certain challenges that might come about. American Airlines had one as well recently, but a lot of it is spend. So a lot of people are doing like buyers groups to try to spend on cards and then return the money and then earn those points and things like that. But it can include, stays, spend, segments. So this is where a lot of people in general, if there are certain status challenges and you don't want to spend the money on, let's say, stays, you typically do have to do stays with Hyatt or with hotels. But if you have like a high spend business, like an ecom biz or Amazon FBA, or you run advertising and you only need to spend a certain amount of money, it definitely favors those people more, for sure. But that's why it's important to like be in the communities and be in different networks, because then a lot of us can continue to collaborate to kind of help each other out. That's how I did it. Top of promos, essentially it's just paying attention, like signing up to different newsletters. There's tons of different like travel creators in the space, like following a few of them. A lot of them are on top of it like every single day. So if you follow them, check out their newsletters, they will kind of keep you on top of it, or you're part of different communities like, me and Toby's and Gems and Rads and all of that. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people, we want to chase status for a particular reason.